What's up, everybody? This is Truck and Van Life. Today we're headed through Wyoming. We're headed back home to Kansas City. Eventually we're going to hit the Nebraska border. We're going to go through Nebraska. Probably might get into northern Missouri tonight. We're on the I-80. Got to hook up with 29, go south. Today's video, going to be talking about night transportation. I'm going to do a review of night transportation. I was with them for a couple of years, actually. I was there for a year and a half, and I left, and I came back for a while, and then, yeah, so a couple years in total. But the one thing that I kind of have to preface this with is each night terminal is its own company, essentially. They have their own budget, they have their own shop, and like the Kansas City shop can do somebody's truck from the Indy shop, the Indianapolis shop, and they'll build the Indianapolis shop and they can rip them off. It's like their own individual little companies, and they're competing against each other, which is kind of a good thing, I guess. Because it makes every individual terminal want to be the best. But as far as transferring, say you get to, I don't know, Indy or Chicago or somewhere, and you hate it, like you just hate it. You hate the terminal, you hate the people, you hate your dispatcher, blah, 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 and you want to transfer. You're like, oh, why can't I just transfer to Indy? I'm over the road anyway, I'm out for weeks at a time. You can't just transfer. They have to basically allow the transfer, and you have to get released, not fired, but your employment has to be terminated from the Chicago terminal, and then you have to be hired again, like rehired at the Indy terminal. So that's kind of really weird. It's kind of strange. I don't know why they just wouldn't let upset drivers go to another terminal right away and just say, there you go. But I myself was out of the Kansas City shop, their Kansas City terminal. So I can only talk about the terminal out of Kansas City. I've been to every other terminal, but not very extended period of time. They're all about the same. You got the same rules and regulations, of course. But it's just how the management, I think, acts is different, because Kansas City, the management was awesome. The management was laid back. They got things done. It was just very efficient, it seemed like. If you did your job, they didn't really bother you. I mean, and even if they did bother somebody, I heard that they were just kind of like, hey, they weren't like degrading you or yelling at you. It was like they were your friends, telling you like, hey, this is what you do to do your job better. And that was pretty cool. Let's see. So yeah. So like I said, Kansas City terminal is my only experience. In the Kansas City terminal, it's got a good sized yard, parking plenty of room for backing. It's completely gated. You got a little gate card to get into. There's a shop. There is some fuel. There's a DEF. When you go into the shop, the driver's lounge, they've got coffee, got a little kitchenette area. They've got 4 showers, full showers, free laundry, coffee, big screen TV, couches, kind of that typical stuff. The free laundry is a good thing. And then something that's a little, I guess, unique about them is you can actually go in with the dispatchers. You have your ID card, will open the door to go into the dispatchers. You can go and say hey or whatever, because they're just that laid back. There's not a lot of drama with them. One thing is that Swift and Night merged together. Some people say Swift bought Night, some people say Night bought Swift. whatever, it doesn't matter because they're still basically two separate companies. Because if every terminal is ran basically like a separate company, Swift still does its own thing, Knight still does its own thing. There's very little overlap. There are some overlap. I'm not saying there's none. As far as like a Knight pulling a Swift trailer, maybe I've seen that a couple of times, but not very often. So it's pretty much everybody knows that it's a thing, but you don't really see it at all. It's just pay. I'm not sure what they starting pay was at, but when I was ending there, I was at 54 cents a mile, and I was at 54 cents a mile doing dry van. I was dry van and switched to Reefer at the end also as well. 54 cents. They do a monthly bonus for safety and miles. I think the bonus starts at like 88,750 miles, and then that's one penny, and then all the way up to 4 pennies is like 12,000 plus, somewhere around there, 11,000. It's not hard to get the bonus. Like if you drive, you're gonna get the bonus, like 8,000 miles a month. Come on. Let's see. Dry van was good. You have plenty of miles. You should never sit for more than like maybe a half day waiting on a load. Like I've never ever really was one time maybe where they were like, we don't have anything, we're gonna have you sit for a minute. I was out of the Kansas City area and I was already at the terminal coming off my 34. So that wasn't a big deal. Other than that, I've never sat. It's always been like before I'm at my destination for dry van, I've got my next load already on me. It's awesome. It's great. I mean, they use a nice app that you can take a picture of your bills. Very simple. You don't have to put any numbers in. You know, it's all set up for you. An orientation. Orientation. A couple of days long. They give you lunch at the Kansas City area. I don't know about everywhere else. You go through the whole Smith system thing. They do. This is one thing that might get some of you people. They do a hair follicle test. That's the only company that I've ever noticed that will do a hair test as well as a urine test for drugs. Don't shave your head. Don't shave your face, because I do shave my head sometimes. And they'll just shave your arm, or they'll shave your leg. They'll get hair from anywhere they can, because if they can't, they'll wait till you grow it out. They're going to do a hair follicle test. That's Knight's thing. I don't know if I agree with it, maybe, because it's, I mean, if you weren't driving and it was 6 months ago, what does it matter? Especially if you have a history of driving and you're a good driver. Like, what does it matter what you do on your free time? But whatever. That's everybody's own individual opinion. The equipment. Let me go back to the dry. The average length of haul for the dry side, I would say, is about 500 miles. About 5 to 6. You're either ending a load and starting a load, or starting and ending almost every day. You're doing something every day. Every once in a while, you'll get a great load. The longest one I ever had for night was from northwest Nevada all the way down to South Florida, south of Lake Okeechobee. That was a pretty good load for a dry. That was the longest one I've ever had. But other than that, it's about 500 to 600. That's what you can say is probably average. And then when I switched to Reefer, it's a little more. It's 800 to 1,000. Not bad, but again, every day or two, you might have a full day of driving. You know, if you wake up, get loaded, and you got 1,000 miles, and then that second day you're going to be in, and then maybe, you know. So pretty much everything is alive. There are a few dropping hooks on the Reefer side. I would say on the dry side, it's the majority of the freight is dropping hook. There are It's not out of the ordinary to get a live load or unload. But Reefer, it's reversed. It's pretty much all live load or unload. Every once in a while, you'll get a drop and hook. So I told you about the miles, the equipment. They mostly run internationals. Kansas City kept their equipment in great shape. Every time I got a truck, or I got a new truck once when I was in this. Of course, a new truck was awesome, but there was nothing wrong with it. It's clean. If there's ever an issue, they fix it because they have their own shop. Let's see. It comes with an APU, an inverter. Excuse me, it does not come with an APU. It comes with an inverter. And that's really about it. As far if you're dry, if you're dry, you don't get a refrigerator or anything like that. No APUs. Reefer has a refrigerator. Still no APU, unless they. I think they're starting to get APUs, but other than that, it's just an inverter and a refrigerator. Are you going to pay? I think so. I don't know what starting is. You can definitely expect to start, if you're going to start in the upper 40s to low 50s, I would say. And they've got a thing called TruePay, which is kind of cool. It shows you on your phone exactly when you're going to get a raise. There's no paperwork. There's no calling. Hey, my year's up. It's all done online. It says every 100,000 miles. It shows you how many miles you have to your next pay raise. And as soon as that you cross that threshold, boom, you get that raise, and it starts over again. So your next check, you're automatically getting the raise. You don't have to worry about it. It's all just done. But other than that, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. Like I said, I was there for quite a while. But it's only out of the Kansas City area. Let's see. The nicest terminal, Phoenix is the biggest, of course. That's where it's everybody's. That's the main corporate is in Phoenix. So they've got a huge one. But the nicest one is probably Indianapolis is new. It's just nice. They got a nice gym. I got them all over. I can't even search it. Just all over the country. They've got terminals, and they're all fairly well kept. The only one that kind of crappy that I never even went in, never even kind of felt like dirty if I got out of my truck was in Pennsylvania. Sorry if you guys are, or no, maybe it was Columbus. I think it was Columbus, Ohio. One of those two. I don't know. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, ask them. You can email me. My email's in the description, truckandvanlive@gmail. Like the video, give it a thumbs up if you hated it. I don't know why you're still watching it, but give it a thumbs down. If you want to subscribe, I'm going to do another review on a couple of other companies I've been with. I have nothing bad to say about Knight. I would say they are a very good, I don't even want to say starter company. They're a great starter company, and they're a company that if you're comfortable with, people just say it's a mega carrier, they suck. No, they're not bad. They're good. People work there for years and years. I worked there for multiple years, and you can retire from there. It's not out of the ordinary. So, but like I said, any questions, drop them down below. I'll answer any question, unless it's